All right, well, cheers. Happy Friday. I just got something really cool, and this is going to upgrade my brew day game by a lot. And if you are still brewing either extract or all grain with just your 5 gallon kettle on the stove, you need to spend a couple $100. I think it's about $290 for this Vevor system. So far, so good. Holds 9.2 gallons. I think the largest batch of grain that you can add in here is 17.6 pounds. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing 14.6 pounds, and we're going to make an 8-gallon batch of a Blue Moon clone that I've been working on. So, first things first, putting it together was pretty easy. It came with everything that I needed. I wasn't missing a manual like a lot of other people are claiming they were, which I'm sure is exactly what happened, because the manual isn't as thorough as it could be. It doesn't really need to be, because it's super self-explanatory once you look at it for a few minutes. The only thing I haven't figured out how to do yet is change it from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if anybody knows, leave me a comment so you can help me out, because I don't want to have to brew in Celsius every 2 weeks. Anyway, it's pretty easy. You just attach your pipe for your pump right here. So that's going to recirculate water from the bottom up to the top, and and pretty much sparge your grain throughout your brew. And you've got your grain basket that lifts right out of here. It's got a perforated bottom portion and a perforated top portion, so you're not going to get any grain into your wort, and you're not going to have to worry about the sparge only hitting one spot of your grain, because it's got this perforated top and it spreads out pretty evenly. I will know more about that tomorrow. Other than that, you just add a couple of pieces. I think I needed a Phillips head screwdriver and a flathead screwdriver, and that was it. So if you've got one of each of those, you're good to go. And this was a lot cheaper, is a lot cheaper than most of the other electric brew kettles that are similar to this are, which I'm sure are great, but I'm not spending $1,000 on an electric brew kettle, sorry. But this is gonna up my game a lot. It's gonna cut my brew day probably down to about half, and it's also going to be able to yield me about twice the size, twice the load in batches, twice the volume. So I was brewing 4 to 5 gallons for a long time, and now we're going to shoot for 8. So I've already tweaked my recipe to account for the extra volume, and tomorrow I'm going to be brewing. So I'll show you exactly how this works. I will show you how to brew an all-grain brew for your first time if you've never done it before. If you've done extract, or you want to get into brewing, or you do brew and you just want to see how I do it, and then we can ask each other questions, because I don't know everything by any means. But if anybody has questions about it, I know enough to help you get started and point you in the right direction. And also, I did the math. This holds up to 17.6 pound of grain. When you work out the fact that 1 pound of grain displaces 0.25 gallons of water, and how many pounds of grain per gallon you should be using, this really only allows you to prepare up to 6 or 6.5 gallons. Well, I want to brew 8 gallons. I'm not going from 4 to 6. I want to go from 4 to 8. So I'm going to brew a just dense, condensed version of my final output, and then I'm going to top it off with distilled water. Distilled water that has been sanitized before it's been opened. I've done this in the past. I know some brewers disagree and would never do that, but I know plenty of brewers who do, and I've spoken to plenty who do, and it will allow me to make an 8-gallon batch. And I have 2 fermenters, so I can ferment 10 gallons at a time, and Then I can keg or bottle and do it all over again. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. Tomorrow, if you want to, I'm going to post another video, just uncut and like raw like this. I'm not going to edit any of this crap. But I'll show you how to use the Vevor system. I'll show you how I do my all grain brew, and I will show you how I'm going to leave myself with an 8-gallon volume versus a 6 or 6.5 gallon volume. So go ahead and just leave me a comment if you have any questions, or if you have something to tell me that you think would be helpful. I would really appreciate it, and especially if you know how to change this from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Because boiling temperature in Celsius is easy, but I'm just lazy. I don't want to worry about it. I just want to be able to look at it and know what I'm looking at. Anyway, if you subscribe and turn on the notification, it'll pop up tomorrow when I post it. So I'm going to do it earlier in the day, so I'll have it up by tomorrow afternoon. But let me know. And anybody with any experience with this specific model or specific brand, let me know if there's anything that you've experienced that may help me out or save me some time in the future. But all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.